Okay, Dr. Amanda Hanson, the midlife muse. She is a doctor of psychology, best-selling author, and internationally recognized leader in women's empowerment. Her groundbreaking work blends clinical expertise with ancient holistic wisdom. I love that.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here at this wellness forum. My name is Dr. Amanda Hanson. I am a clinical psychologist. I have been working with women for many, many years, but I've been a clinical psychologist for 27 years. I have worked with every single possible population on the planet, from schizophrenia to children in foster care homes, from couples, from children to children in foster care, people dying from AIDS in their final weeks of their life. There's really no population that I have not worked with. And I have spent the last several years specializing primarily in women's psychology. Because what I have come to know and learn in this environment that we are all in currently, we are all looking for a quick fix. And there is no quick fix for female psychology. So I was doing traditional talk therapy with women for many years. And I felt like we were just in a constant echo chamber and nothing sustainable, no massive changes were really happening for them. So I started bringing in some somatic work. I started bringing in some really intense practices that would blow your mind. And I thought, oh gosh, if the Psychological Association finds out I'm doing some of this, am I going to lose my license? But what happened within weeks, women started to have huge transformations. And then I thought, what if I started doing this with communities of women? So at my office at the time, I was working with women for 10-week session. They would travel with me for 10 weeks, every single week, a group of 20 to 30 women at a time. The transformation. So I found in those 10 weeks that the women worked with me, they were having so many reports of better relationships, better sex. They were feeling physically better. A lot of these physical ailments and symptoms they had had prior to working with me were completely gone. They couldn't even find one thing. They were actually searching for something, thinking this has got to be too good to be true. I stay in touch with my clients for a very long time after. They send me pictures of their family, their husbands write me letters. I hear from their children because we do such deep and profound work. And what I found was coming together in community and doing really intense work allowed the quantum growth. So what we could accomplish in 10 weeks together was way more than I could do in 2 years with them in talk therapy, because women were not designed to just sit and talk about our problems. We really weren't. Women were designed to move the feelings out of their body. We have to get all of the years of trauma, all of the sludge and fossil fuel that's contaminating us out. And I'm going to get into that a little bit more in just a few minutes. So what I noticed was everything when I look around in psychology is a 3-step hack, or a lot of word salad where people say intention and forgiveness and gratitude, and those things are important. But what does that actually look like in a real life? How does that actually create sustainable change in your life and better relationships? I felt like there weren't enough tangible tools for women and human beings. We all understand what forgiveness is. But how do you forgive someone that you feel like betrays the ability to hold space for you? We know what forgiveness is, but are we supposed to constantly bypass, or is it possible we can learn to have really hard conversations? So I started to notice that traditional psychology was just not the way for women anymore. So I left traditional psychology, gave up my license, and ironically, right around the same time, the pandemic happened. So I went primarily online, and my work in 3.5 years has reached almost 500 million women around the world. I've spoken on stages across the world. I have women in my programs from every single continent in the world. And the changes that they are having are mind-blowing. It wouldn't even seem logical. But because I've put this entire system together to actually help women get to the root cause of their suffering. And my hope is after they work with me for maybe 6 months, they never have to work with me again. because I activate the inner leader in every single woman. I don't want women to have to be dependent on me or coming back. I want them to know they have everything they need inside of them. But here's the problem. In a patriarchal structure, in a world that was created and written by men for men, we can't even hear where or see where the rules are for women. We all know that nutrition, supplementation, exercise, almost all of it has been written and studied by men for men. Even seatbelts, public restrooms, everything. The studies were always done on men. If you read the book Invisible Women, you will understand that the entire world, all research has been based on men. We know that in the medical industry. So why would we think that traditional talk therapy would actually create results for women? It doesn't. It keeps her stuck in the cycle of going back 3 years later, 5 years later, still talking about the same thing and not really getting to any meat and potatoes, any sustainable change. So that's the work that I do. So when we talk about it, these wellness events, all of the beautiful ways to support your body, to live your most optimal life, to have better cells, to have longer hair, to feel more vibrant, to feel more radiant, to sleep better, everything, that's wonderful. But the piece that I see continually missing, because we like to take a pill, we like a quick fix, I don't see anybody talking about psychological longevity and what that actually looks like in the life of an average woman every single day. What does that look like for her? What does she do? That piece is completely missing. I sometimes have, I often, I get a lot of DMs, but I have women say to me, Dr. Amanda, I can't afford to work with you right now, but can you give me 3 tips to happiness? I wish I could give my work broken down in 3 tips for happiness. But when you want a quick fix, you will never have a sustainable result. So we like to take supplements, we like to eat healthy, we like to drink the cleanest water, we like to sleep on an organic mattress, all fabulous. But you have to be willing to start picking up all the patriarchal rubble that you've been buried underneath and really taking a look at your life so that you can create real epic change. If you don't go down to the foundation, if you don't look at your family of history, if you don't look at what started happening to you when you were 2, 3, and 4 years old and really understand that and process that through your body, you will never, ever get out of that vicious cycle. And that's the piece that no one's going to actually tell you about, because traditional psychology wants you to come back every week. That's how they stay employed. You keep circling around the same problem. How did that make you feel? Tell me more about that. So what I think I hear you saying is, because they want you coming back so they can keep charging over and over and over again. I want you so damn free that you soar. And I hear from you 2 years later about the epic life you went and created, and the relationships you healed, and the business you started, and the bank account that's so abundant you never could have even fathomed it, because we got all that sludge and fossil fuel out of the way. So when we look at health and healing, we understand, I'm sure many of you read about the Harvard study, longest study ever done on human flourishing. It was an 80-year study, and they wanted to look at what is the single predictor, biggest predictor to longevity. They thought it was going to be, their speculation, their hypothesis was it was probably going to be something to do with nutrition or diet and exercise. Turns out the single predictor for longevity is connection. It's not about the number of friends you have in your life. It's not about how many people follow you on Instagram, how many parties you get invited to. It is about the quality of the connections, the people that you can be your most vulnerable self with, that you can open your armor and you can say, here I am, here's all of me. And just as important, if not more important, is the connection you hold with yourself. What kind of emotional intimacy do you actually have with yourself? What ability do you have to really go down into the caverns of who you are and not run away, not numb it, not go for a shopping spree, another sip of alcohol, another injection of Botox? Can you stand there? Can you go deep into the well of yourself? That's how you become well, when you can go into the well of yourself and really do the work down there. Anything else is simply bypassing. And that's why the human suffering continues to come in cycles over and over and over again. We also know that 87%, imagine this, 87% of cardiovascular disease is because of unprocessed emotions. So all these heart attacks, all this heart disease, sure, you can take some supplements to help assist with being better for your heart. But if you don't process your emotions properly, all of that will get stuffed down, pushed down. You will have to do something to avoid it. You will drink, you will gossip, you will cheat, you will make, I don't know, you'll do all the things, all the different addictions. You'll be addicted to porn, you'll be addicted to all of the things that we know people get addicted to because you can't sit with yourself. You're not comfortable enough to feel it. And then what happens? All of that self-betrayal turns into fossil fuel, turns into tar and sludge inside of your bloodstream, and it will kill you. It literally, your heart gets broken after a while. One human can only take so much suffering. Eventually, the heart literally gives out. Not because you're broken, but because you're immersed in a system that hasn't given you a more functional way of living. So that's where we have to go. We have to be able to have better, deeper connections, not just with others, but with ourselves. And we also have to be willing to do all of the work it takes to not bypass and numb all the way through our damn lives. I can see it everywhere. So many people are walking around numbed out like a bunch of zombies. It's terrifying, and it's becoming more so with everything that's happening with social media. So my work really gets to the bottom of how do we build authentic connection? You can't build an authentic connection with a single person until you build it with yourself. You know the old saying, you can't really love anyone until you love yourself. I've never known anything to be more true. I've been married for almost 30 years, and I love myself more than my husband can love me. He loves me, he adores me, but how could he possibly love me the way I love me? I'm the one who's living inside of me. I know exactly what I desire, what I want, what I need, but when I was in my era of thinking it was him who was supposed to fulfill everything, imagine the strife in our relationship. We almost got divorced. Then I came to this place of understanding like, oh, I actually get to fulfill all of that for myself. And then anything he brings is just an added bonus. So the willingness to create beautiful connections. In my work, I have women who haven't talked to their teenage or their 20-year-old sons for years. I have them fly to see their son unexpectedly and read letters to them to create repair. I have women who reach out to their moms that they decided they weren't going to speak to anymore. And I help her with the conversation she's going to have to reunite with her mom. All of those things. It's not even about you have to forgive the person. You can offer an olive branch for your own healing. So we do some really deep work. So we create deeper connections first with yourself and then with your loved ones. And then I teach you how to process all of your emotions, the whole entire range of it. So you are never running, you are never bypassing, you are never escaping yourself. That's the key to longevity. I know they were asking the women on the panel about what do you do to stay, magnetized, or what do you say to be beautiful or youthful or radiant? And I think one of the most important things we can do is constantly be cleaning out our system and having my practice, and what I teach is called emotional hygiene. How to be the most emotionally hygienic woman, because I never want to contaminate my 4 grown children. I never want to contaminate the women who work with me. I never want to contaminate my husband. I don't want to contaminate my clients and my best friends or my mother. But if I don't stay squeaky clean and do my work, I will. It's just natural. If I'm walking around with a cup of coffee and I bump into you accidentally, coffee is going to come out and spill on you because that's what's in my cup. But if love and beauty is inside of my cup, when you bump into me, that's what's going to come out, and you're going to feel it, because that's what I fill up with myself every single day, not through bypassing though. So how did we get here that we have people who are so profoundly lonely, so confused and terrified to process their emotions? How did we get here where we've got just a lot of people walking through life saying, hi, yeah, no, I'm fine. I'll tell you, when people come to me, nobody's fine. How did we get here? We got here because we grew up in a culture and a society that did not talk about emotions. Our well-intended parents couldn't possibly teach us what to do with our feelings because they don't even know what to do with their own. So we have to create new systems. Just like we're creating all of these new ways to biohack yourself, we also have to do this with our emotionality. We can't possibly think that what got our parents to this point in life is going to get us where we're going. If we're actually talking about evolution, let's learn how to evolve as humans. The fact that AI is developing the way that it is, the fact that cars can drive themselves, and humans' emotionality is so stunted, blows me away. Absolutely blows me away how little humans are willing to do when it comes to their emotional well-being. So we did this because we were constantly seeking love and approval from family, from friends, from church, from religion. We thought, well, the only way to get love is I have to do exactly what everyone else is doing. Otherwise, I'm the weird one. But I would love for you to consider, rather than being the weird one, maybe you're the leader. Maybe you're the one. Yeah. Maybe you're the one. I was always the weird one in my family. I literally would get in trouble and have to go to my room because I was so emotional and I had such huge energy. I actually thought there was something wrong with me for the most of the years growing up. And even in my early 20s, I was so intense all of the time and I thought something was wrong with me because I felt so big and so much. And then I just decided, Amanda, what if nothing's wrong with you at all? What if you were born to lead? And now, thankfully, I've taken all of that leadership, harnessed it, and built a beautiful, beautiful business and career out of it. So we often just lose ourselves on the path because we are looking at and taking directions from other people. I love and adore my mom, but let me tell you, I am not about to take directions from her about life. She's got an amazing life. I want none of it, though. I want to see her. I want to eat her fabulous food. I love her, but I don't want her life. So why would I let her decisions about what it means to be a good woman affect me? Why would I take directions from a place or a person that I have no interest in the same destination? So we have to be paying attention to that as well. We're spending so much time worried about green juice and step counts. Meanwhile, everybody's a million miles away from themselves and so disassociated. So I think the inner work is the really exciting part you all get to invite yourselves into. So our question should not just be, how do I live longer? Your question should be, how do I live in a life where I belong to myself, where I belong inside of my life, where I'm not just seen, but I'm known. I'm deeply, profoundly understood. How do you create that kind of life? It takes courage, for sure. Okay, we're going to do a little quick assessment. So this is going to take a moment for you to really consider the truth here and answer. If you answer yes to any of these, I want you to stand up. So really, really, truly be honest with yourself. The only person, again, that you would be betraying would be yourself. So be as honest as you possibly can. If you agree with one of these, stand up, but please stay standing until the end of the assessment. So the very first question is, I often feel like I'm watching my life more than I'm living it. If anyone agrees with that, please stand up. Thank you for your honesty. Okay. I don't know what I want anymore. I just know that I just know I'm tired. I stay busy because slowing down feels scary and painful. I feel like showing the signs of aging makes me less valuable. This is where most women usually stand up. Let's be honest, ladies. I often feel numb, like my emotions are distant or muted. I don't feel emotionally safe enough to be fully myself with anyone. I struggle to feel present during physical intimacy or affection. How many of you drift off or disassociate when you're having sex? Or you fantasize about someone or something else? Thank you for being honest, for those of you who are. I feel like I'm too much and not enough at the same time. I don't feel like I always have permission to slow down, to grieve, or to just be. I feel safer alone than I do in most of my relationships. I feel like if I show my true essence, my life and my relationships will be destroyed. Okay, fantastic. So stay standing if you're standing. And if you're not standing, that's unbelievable. You are so connected to yourself. I'm so seriously so happy for you, honestly. And I know some of you weren't telling the truth, but that's okay because you're embarrassed. You want to pretend you've got it all figured out. I stand for some of these and I teach this shit. So if you weren't standing ever, that's amazing. I'll hire you maybe. But my question always is to people who are standing like, how did we even get here? How is it possible that we are living these lives and we feel so far removed from ourselves and we feel like who we are, the essence of who we are, is not lovable, acceptable enough to really show itself? So thank you so much. You can all sit down. Thank you for being so honest about that. I really appreciate that. So thank you. And I think we got here because we've awarded performance. I see most people love to perform wellness. They love to perform happiness. They love to perform having it all figured out. I don't see a lot of presence where people are comfortable just being present in their lives. They're more comfortable performing in their lives. And so that is a big piece that is often missing for people. So we've adapted, we've hardened, we've numbed, and we say, no, it's all good. I work with women on average who come to me, very successful women who have pretty much everything. They've checked all the boxes of the list that they were given to say, here is what will make for a happy life. They checked all the boxes, and yet every one of these women come to me saying, something is missing. I can't put my finger on it, but there is an ache really deep. Can you help me figure out what the hell is missing? And this is sometimes where people blow their lives up. And I could have helped them avoid that if they got to me sooner. They blow their life up because what was missing, it wasn't the wrong marriage. It wasn't the wrong career. It was just some fine tuning that needed to be happening. More often than not, what was missing was their voice in all of the places that they were showing up. And so I help people repair all of those things through being their most authentic self. And if jobs go away, if people step away because of that, then we just blessing and release them because we know it was meant to be, that they weren't meant to be in our lives. So I'm going to share a story with you quickly about the thing that I think is the biggest struggle for a lot of people is that what is happening is we are not able to access and really look at the beliefs that our lives were built on. So everybody builds these lives and we have all these beliefs, but we typically inherit beliefs from our family, from our culture, from our religion. And then we move through life and we're wondering why our life feels like something's always off. What I find more often than not is because we never go to the root and look at the beliefs that we've built our life on. So our life doesn't feel like ours because we built it on somebody else's beliefs. We built it on different cultural expectations. So when I was approaching 40, I'm about to be 53. When I was approaching 40, I started asking myself, as I was watching all the women around me panic and all of my girlfriends really freak out about aging, I started to ask myself, what is my belief, my true, honest belief about aging? Do I believe that when women age, they become less valuable? The answer was no, I don't. But I did absorb that belief. I absorbed it and almost thought it was mine, almost created a second chapter of my life based on that belief. So I was willing and honest enough to say, no, Amanda, that's not your belief. That's what you've absorbed from a sick society, from a toxic beauty culture. Because if they can make me afraid, they'll have me buying all kinds of shit. But if I'm not afraid, you can't convince me to buy a damn thing. So I realized, okay, no, I'm not afraid. I think aging is the most actually beautiful, powerful, sacred thing. I think the thing we need the most in this world is the matriarchy. I think we need women 50 over to start guiding us. Where are the leaders? Where are the women who are filled with wisdom to say, come on this way. We're going this way. So when I realized I'm not afraid of aging, the next step I took, then I'm not going to color my hair. And I'm not going to get Botox. And I'm not going to do fillers. Because I trust Mother Nature. And I trust, just like every single tree outside, it's having its own beautiful, miraculous journey. I don't go out and look at the trees and think, oh gosh, if only that one was a little bit more lean to the left, it would be perfect. Oh, that sunset. Damn, that sunset would have just been better if I only had one more ray out to the left side. I go out and I'm spellbound. I'm in awe. I barely can watch a sunset without crying. Just like I can barely work with my clients without feeling that kind of emotionality every day, because I'm witnessing miracles happen. And every day that I go to the mirror with another line or another wrinkle, I'm witnessing a miracle. I won't turn my back on it. I'm not afraid of it It's because I'm willing to do this kind of work that's very, very deep, that most people here would struggle to actually even understand what I'm talking about. It's that deep. So when you live a life where you take all of the beliefs that you have built your life on, you can start, and I know this does make people very uncomfortable when I start talking about the fact that I don't do Botox. And I know that's a big one. I know it's a big, scary one for women when I talk about this. It really has women run in fear. So, I'm going to be honest with you. I think we're in a crisis at this point. The fact that we're even doing this. And I think we're going to have some really scary medical fallout in a few years from now. And my daughter, she's 22 and she's at this place where she's like, Mom, I don't even know what a 30-year-old's face looks like anymore. That's really sad. I think it's really sad that we're losing female aging faces. Not the faces of men that are aging, just those of women. I think it's quite tragic. I want my grandchildren someday to look at me and take their little chubby finger and trace every single line on my face and the jiggly skin on my arms. That's what I want my life to feel like. I want it to be that rich. I want to be a piece of art on the way out. I don't need to look infantilized. I don't need to look like I'm 15 or 25. I find it deeply disturbing. I'm a grown-ass woman. Okay. All right. Let's do a little something here. I have a little meditation that I want to invite you into. So if you want to put your feet comfortably on the floor, give yourself a moment to close your eyes, take a couple of deep breaths. Men can do this too. You're welcome. Okay, so let's go ahead and close your eyes. Take a slow and deep breath into your belly. Let it fall out through your mouth with a sigh. And let this be your permission to arrive. You're safe now. Safe to feel. Safe to see yourself. Safe to return to the parts of you that you've been taught to exile. Now, in your mind, I want you to stand in front of a mirror. Not the mirror in your bathroom, but the mirror in your soul. The one that reflects more than just your appearance. It reflects everything you've ever tried to hide. Everything you were told made you unworthy. Everything you believed made you too much. And I want you to look. Really look. See the part of yourself that brings up the most shame, the most pain, and the most judgment. Maybe it's your aging face. Maybe it's your soft belly. Maybe it's the fear behind your eyes. Or the tiredness you've carried for years. Whatever it is, go there. See it clearly. And now listen. What is the voice that arises in your mind when you look at that part of yourself? Is it critical? Is it cruel? Does it sound like a parent? A partner? A culture? A memory? Let me tell you something. That voice is not yours. Even if it lives in your head, it was planted there. And right now, you are reclaiming your right to speak over it. Now step closer to your reflection. And I want you to become the voice that you never had. The voice you needed. The one that knows the whole story. Say this from the depths of your being. I forgive you for everything you did to survive. I forgive you for carrying shame that was never yours to hold. I forgive you for believing you had to be flawless to be loved. Now breathe and say these words to yourself. You are not broken. You were never broken. You are beauty itself. Even in your rawness, especially in your rawness, you are safe with me now. Let your nervous system really feel that. Let every cell begin to soften under the weight of your own compassion. Place one hand on your heart and the other hand on the part of your body that feels most tender, and whisper this. I will not abandon you again. I will not shame you into silence. I will not wage war against the skin that holds me. Now picture light beginning to pour into your body, not some cosmic disconnected light. This is your light, ancient and wild. It moves like honey, and it hums with memory. And it spreads into every inch of your being, your neck, your chest, your stomach, your womb, your thighs, your scars, your shadows. And now, see yourself. See all of you, who you were, who you are, and the elder that you are becoming. Say to yourself, I am whole. I am holy. I am mine. Again, I am whole. I am holy. I am mine. Let it echo through time. Let it reach every age you've ever been. And let it replace what was never true. Hear the voices of your parents adding to that feeling. You are whole. You are holy. You are right. Now the voices of those who've hurt you, adding to that feeling. You are whole. You are holy. You are right. Now breathe. Hold yourself in this fullness, in this return, in this quiet revolution. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. But don't leave yourself behind. You can go there when you need to connect. That is source. that is how you find yourself again. When you start to feel topsy-turvy in a world that's telling you to buy something, to feel bad about yourself, to be ashamed of the way that you are. I want to take these last couple of minutes. It looks like I have 8 minutes left. If there's any questions, we'll use this time for Q&A. If you have any questions about my work, about something going on in your life that you would like to have a little clarity on, this is a great time. Yes.
I was thanking you. That's really what I felt like was missing from the weekend. I do work similar to yours. I feel like my goal is to teach people how to feel. And so like I'm a healer, and that's what I do. So this was incredible for me to see you out there and hear my thoughts. So thank you, first of all. I get a lot of people who come into my practice and into my life who really don't even know how to begin to feel. They're so disconnected from themselves, from their bodies, from their emotional spectrum. What do you say to people who are for the first time dipping their toe into what it even means to feel an emotion and help them get through that huge barrier that they have into even beginning?
Absolutely. That's a great question. I would say that it's going to sound pretty extreme. This is one of the things I do. When people are a million miles away from themselves and they can't even feel, the very first thing we have to do is go to themselves. So oftentimes I have a mirror that I use, and I have them go right in front of the mirror. And I usually am standing there next to them, and I ask them, tell me what you see. And most of them are like, I can't even look. Right? Okay. So with your eyes closed, what do you believe is there? And then she starts to say, or he starts to say certain things. What if we just opened one eye and looked for just a minute? What if you just looked at your feet? How about we just look at your elbow, right? Because to teach people to start feeling about things outside or other relationships when they can't even feel themselves, everything I need to know, it's the most premier assessment. Everything I need to know happens in front of a mirror, and the way someone can or cannot receive themselves. Because the average interaction with a mirror is critique, beratement, or trying to fix something very quickly in front of the mirror, but it is rare that it is in the mirror. I saw a photo of my daughter that I took when she was 9 months old, and I found it in photos a couple of years ago. And she was 9 months old, and she was standing in front of the mirror, and she was like this, just so much awe and wonder. And when I saw that, I thought, I wonder when people stop doing that. Especially women. I wonder when we stop going to the mirror with awe and wonder. And so I started developing this really deep practice that I take women through this profound ritual there's very specific music I use, but it is bringing them back to the mirror. I cannot even begin to tell you the level of transformation. There don't even have to be words. So rather than getting them, it's really hard when people are so far away from their feelings to start just talking. We have to get them doing. That's why a lot of my work is actually up, moving, doing different types of, I have a lot of my work is rituals and ceremonies. And that usually creates the movement for them to then start talking. But I would begin something that gentle, even if it's literally a hand mirror, right? You will learn so much in the first moments, and then you'll know how to guide them. And then teaching them when you go home every day, even if it's for 30 seconds, I want you to stand there and see yourself. Not in a critiquing way, but I want you to stand there and see the holy being you are. Once we allow human beings to connect with their humanity and the miracle that they are, all of a sudden, the floodgates open. But when we do it from a heady psychological place, we don't really get where we really, really want to go. So we bring people, there's nothing as beautiful as learning how to see yourself, and then you can see the world. Yeah. Yes.
I connected so deeply when you said, I am mine, and that hit me so hard. And I wonder if you could just elaborate on that more. Like, the way I heard it is that I so often kind of give myself to others. Like, I get like my worth from them, or I feel like I become obsessed with being chosen by them instead of just keeping the focus on, I am mine. So I just want to hear more of that from you.
Absolutely. I think that when we come into the world, the very first thing we tell girls, we raise them on Disney fairy tale movies, and then there's rom-coms, and she doesn't really have half a brain in her head, and she's just racing for love the whole time. And she just gets chosen at the end, and it's all perfect. And so we wonder why women are coded to literally seek rather than be. Seek love rather than be love. Seek validation rather than be self-validating. just over and over that message goes. So I think it's a really profound concept for women to learn how to be, I am mine first and foremost. I am the greatest lover of my own life. I am the greatest confidant. I am the one that I trust more than anyone or anything in the world. It doesn't mean I don't have beautiful relationships and love the people in my life, but I source here so that I overflow into everyone else. And being in a relationship with me never feels like a burden because I'm so self-sourced. So what I raised my daughter and my 3 sons as well to do, and what I work with women on is this idea that I came up with just for a fun and easy concept to understand is I think all of us as women, we come into the world, we're raised as princesses and we're like, I just want to look pretty and I want to be chosen and then everything's going to be perfect and I'm not going to make any mistakes and I'm never even going to go to the bathroom because I'm perfect. Do you see this? Like it's always perfect. And so we raised women to be princesses and we're like, I wonder why I feel a million miles away from myself. And so my work teaches her how to walk. We build a bridge out of princess and into queen. And then the queen is the woman who self-sources. She is in such high regard of her choices, her decisions. She has full, complete agency over her body. Even the way a princess shows up like in the bedroom. She's performative. She's doing the thing that she thinks the person's going to like, but she's a million miles away from her pleasure. A queen knows how to source her pleasure. She's turned on before she's even like taken a piece of clothing off. So it's a very different energetic. Teaching a woman how to be all of the things rather than seek all of the things is a game changer. It's the fundamental of my work. Yeah.
The most important thing for health is the word connection, either with not the quantity, but quality, either with others or yourself. What about a spiritual connection? As long as you have a connection with a higher power or a spiritual source.
I think that's extremely important, but we're made for human connection. We are made to have human beings hold eye contact with us and touch us and love us and receive us. We are made to laugh together till we pee our pants. We're made for human connection and touch. And so absolutely spirituality, I think, is an exquisite way to have as another support in your life. But I wouldn't say spirituality instead of human beings. I still think human beings are really important to have. And once we trust ourselves so much, I always tell people, you don't have to trust anyone in the world. I don't trust my husband. I don't trust my kids. I don't trust people who work for me. Not in a bad way. I don't trust anybody because I trust myself so much. If my husband decides to leave me, I'll figure it out. Okay. My children decide to like make some insane decision that I'm completely against. I'll figure it out. People who work with me decide they found someone they want to work with that's even better for them, that's more aligned. I'll figure it out. I'll always figure it out. I trust myself so unequivocally. So being in relationship is also so much easier when you don't hold on and cling for dear life to making sure that you promise me, you swear. No, let people just be. Let people live their lives. When you trust yourself like that, you are a free agent, as are they. It's such an unbelievable, and I'll also tell you, it's the most damn magnetizing energy to be with. Probably why we're still married 30 years later. My husband, he had to come for a booty call last night from Fort Lauderdale because he was like, damn, knowing you're in the vicinity, I just got to come and see you. But we were at the Fana last night and he left to go to the restroom and he came back in and he walked up to me. He's like, I cannot believe it's been 30 years. That's not because I don't look like I'm aging. That's because the magnetism comes from a very, very deep place. And that is hot. I would source that more than I would source a lot of other things, ladies. Thank you so very much. Thank you.